Charles, it is fantastic to see you, sir, our greatest sponsor ever. And what we're trying to do here is prove to the world, which you and I know, that Hull is the most enterprising city in the world. And the first thing I think is that I think Hull is the only city that has got a micro-business strategy. Could you tell us a little bit about why you put that together?
It seemed a logical thing to do based on what the council was looking at the time, which was a regeneration strategy for the city. And as you know, there's been a number of us involved with developing those strategies over the years that have said, well, what about small business? Notice I don't use the dreaded term SME, the small business, and it becomes more and more logical to actually have something that you can hold on to. Not that something that will constantly be there and set in stone forever and a day, but it sets a framework that the future for Hull had to be its micro businesses. Mm-hmm. They are part of the community. They are more likely to recruit from within the local community, and they're more likely to be trading with each other within the local community. Yeah. So part of the community wealth building agenda of the council, it just seemed extremely logical.
Fabulous.
And we ended up, like with the youth enterprise strategy, we were the first area to have one of those. We're the first area to have a micro-biz strategy. The only other areas happen to be two countries, Wales and Scotland. So maybe Hull should be independent. For too long, I think there has been people going around doing these wonderful business events, saying how much they've made and how they've got all these staff, when actually they've ceased to be enterprising. They're still running a business, but they themselves have stopped being enterprising. Yeah. You know, it's become a process rather than, because enterprise to me, it's a philosophy, it's a deal, it's an understanding. And I think that was the one thing that was very sad for me in the last 2 years during the pandemic. The fact that so many, as you know, Tony, were excluded from support from government, which goes to prove that whether it be national government, whether it be local government, or whether it be agencies, this country still doesn't know what an enterprising person is. No. They know what an entrepreneur is because it sounds good, but an enterprising person, a sole trader, a person who is working and developing a business at the same time, or somebody who is at university or college and still learning through a business. It's something that doesn't fit the narrative. So. You know, I dedicate what we do in Hull now to the excluded, like you have done previously, to make sure that those startups will never feel excluded again, whether it be from a pandemic scenario, whether it be from an economic collapse, or whether it be the latest fancy invention or whatever, that those small micro businesses still get supported. And I think the other side of it is that I actually think we've actually now created, on the back of Microbiz Matters Day, a movement where people who are now willing to speak up. Yes. Again, that came through the excluded. You know, there were people who had never been involved with campaigns. Absolutely. They'd just been running their own businesses.
Not enough. We didn't get as many as we wanted. No, but there are.
You know, and all of a sudden they came together. Yeah. They saw something that was intolerable. Yeah. And they worked together. Yeah. Which is just like a business. They came together, they saw an opportunity, and they created a product and service. Yeah. So I think, you know, moving on from what they did, what you have done, what Yorkshire in Business are doing, what the council that I work for is doing, whether it be the Youth Bank, whether it be making changes for careers programme, or whether it be the big 13 enterprise skills that started in Rotherham. Yeah. We've now got the base. If anything, this has been the storming period of this great partnership. Yeah. We're now going to enter the norming period. And it will be the norm where people will listen to micro businesses. Because if they don't, they're not listening to their own family, their own community. And if it's the one thing that all bigwigs like, is to be liked. Yeah. And if those people start turning on them because they don't think they're being listened to, or they've not got the support from them, they'll begin to wonder, well, why are we, hopefully they'll think, why are we here?
Now, you mentioned the word community, so it's all right having a micro-business strategy, but unless you actually get it embedded right throughout this community, grassroots up really, in terms of the teachers, in terms of the job centre, in terms of, you know, your youth enterprise ambassadors, all these, how do you go about not selling the strategy, but making sure that everybody's kind of like bought into the concepts and what you're actually trying to do?
I suppose we do it by just doing it, showing the advantage of things within the framework that what we want to do. Having those ambassadors is going to be great, not just in terms of raising the profile in schools and in colleges, but also inside communities, in youth centres, community centres, and other areas where either young people meet in terms of youth enterprise ambassadors, but in the future maybe having some micro-biz ambassadors doing the same. One of the issues that Hull has is that we don't necessarily have a strong business base within communities. We've had plenty of investment as a city, but there's always been this assumption that you need lots of money in order to set up a business, and we're proving that's not true. It's also this business, you need a fast car, you need a computer.
Oh, tell me about it.
You need a website, and then there's the famous one, you cannot be successful unless you've got an office. And I think it's all about empowering people at the end of the day and accepting there will be failure.
Yeah.
And by having that failure and learning from that failure, we can actually start making real differences. I mean, I've been doing this now for 22 years.
Yeah.
And we've had our successes and we've had our failures. But by creating an ethos, creating a team, creating interest from others, you can start slowly changing.
This whole concept of getting the young people that you've actually helped through the John Cracknell Youth Enterprise Bank and from, you know, making change through careers and various things, they're much more relevant than people like me and you, aren't they, really, in terms of the community? And that's something that's like come on leaps and bounds. I mean, I'm interviewing Judith later and things, and her contribution over a year, just interviewing the young people, has been massive, hasn't it?
The post that Judith had as Youth Enterprise Champion has been absolutely brilliant. I mean, a businessman, Hugo Lee, decided that he wanted to invest in some of the things that we were doing, and that was one of the things he decided he wanted to invest in. You know, the idea of actually having somebody who could engage with young people, but also was developing their business at the same time.
It's been a great year, for sure. I've really enjoyed working with the Making Changes for Careers team, with the young people who have come to meet on the programme. Just seeing them come with a business idea and then going through it with a business plan and actually seeing them start it trading, it's been fantastic. But I've also, you know, taken it further to get feedback. I've had interviews with them or just a chat like this one. And I've loved that. I've really loved enjoying listening to their stories and their journey and learning from them because, you know, hopefully, and also other people learning from their journey that they can also become, you know, their own boss. So yeah, it's been a really amazing year for sure.
And you've become a brilliant interviewer, I must say, absolutely awesome. And I've seen quite a lot of your interviews, it's really good. What would you say, are there any common things in terms of, you know, these journeys of all these young enterprising people that you think the kind of help that they all need in order to actually succeed to, in the end, make ends meet out of their own business?
I think confidence building and just having that self-belief. A lot of the people that I spoke to, they all said, you know, going through the MC4C program, it helped them to build their confidence because you go through the enterprising skills, which it helps you to have a positive mindset, you know, money management, and just know how to manage your business, really. I went through the program myself, so I'm a living, you know, testimony to the program, which it made me more confident, you know, that, and made me feel like I can run my business. And that's the common theme that I came across at all the young people I spoke to.
I feel like when you get like entrepreneurs, they've got that sort of like, they're really confident and a lot of passion, won't take no for an answer. But I've always joked and said, I don't feel like I've got them attributes. Like before, if someone said, oh, no, we don't want you, I'd be like, oh, okay then. But I feel like it is growing, because if I look back and think of the things I've been doing just recently, I'd never imagined me doing those things, like just ringing companies and getting in touch and be like, excuse me, do you want a face paint? And really getting myself out there, whereas before I really wouldn't have done that. I was way too shy. But it was my friend had a princess party company, and she said, oh, will you face paint for an event? And I was really overconfident. I was like, oh yeah, of course I will. And it wasn't until afterwards I bought all this stuff, and I was like, oh gosh, what have I got myself in for here? But I thought if I just make my money back and break even, that'll be fine. So yeah, I just tried to do that and got a few bookings, but now it's just sort of like taken off now, and it's going really well.
9 times out of 10 business advisors would have walked away. Face painting business, yeah, it's just a hobby. Whereas, she linked in with my colleague Graham. Graham saw something in her, and because he saw something in her, was prepared to argue the case.
Right.
And by arguing the case, Georgia will hopefully gain customers, because through Graham's conversion of people like me and others, they will think about her in the future.
Obviously doing the work with MC40, and they've helped me grow my confidence, and then just seeing
Well, tell me about that. How have they helped you then?
So it's been great. So I went up with them, and then I've been with Graham doing my business skills, because when I first joined them, that was my main thing. I thought, I have no business skills. I don't have any clue what I'm doing really. I just sort of had the creative skills to use. So they helped me with that side of things, and then they had their Big 13 skills, which I did with Charlene, and just little things that you don't realise that you need, just building your confidence.
What would you say the 2 or 3 most important of those Big 13 that that you've got, you think that you might develop them in the future, but are really important to you succeeding at the moment?
For me, it would be like your confidence and self-esteem.
Right.
Your customer service and like your communication.
Money management, maybe?
Yeah, money management. I feel I'm okay with money, but yeah, I feel like it's a totally different side of things when you're doing it for a business. Just keeping on track of everything and making sure it's all going back into the business.
You've got summer coming up. So tell me about a public event. How does that work?
So in February half term, I managed to get in with Williams Den. So they're like an indoor, and they have an outdoor sort of adventure play, and it's a really beautiful venue. So I managed to get in with them and did February half term.
Did you approach them?
Yeah, so I approached them. And
well done, that's brilliant.
Yeah, and so they said they'd love to have me, and yeah, I've built a really nice relationship with them really quickly, and they've given me their events timetable and want me to come back. They're open all of next month, so they want me to come for like their Easter events and things like that. So fingers crossed, that's a really nice relationship I can start with them.
They will be the ones that future governments will have to listen to.
Yeah, I like that.
Because they're the ones that have set up during the hardest time for anyone ever setting up. And so the Georgias of this world will do well for us. And also I think even if they stop trading, they'll still be gobby. And I think that's the thing. Micro business community, and I'm sorry to use the whole term, but we've got to be gobby.
Yeah, no,
we've got to shout.
Yeah,
we've stopped being done to and start saying this is what we're doing. We're in Ganton School, and enterprise is interwoven across the whole of the school.
That's amazing.
If it can be done in one
Absolutely
school,
amazing. Think
of what it can be done if it was like in many schools.
I was heavily involved at the beginning of Hull Ready with the enterprise skills, so I know the enterprise skills inside and out. So when I came to the school and there were other teachers within the school who wanted enterprise to be at the heart of the curriculum, I could help shape that with them and look at how can we make that something that every child in the school can access and be able to be a part of, so that it's not just the top level offer that we've got, because our primary school children, they enjoy being able to sell products or learn how to work with other people and learn how to organise and plan events. So we wanted it to make sure it run right through the school so that the children get opportunities throughout the school to be able to develop the skills that are needed.
This community aspect is kind of like really important. You as teachers, how do you actually feel supported in the community?
Well, I think the work that Mike and Charles do has really helped, because I joined their group years ago, and we still, that group still continues to meet regularly, so schools from across the city can get together, share ideas, support each other, collaborate on ideas as well. And I think their input has really helped because, you know, they signpost us to lots of events that we've done in the past and helping us with Blue Ceramics especially. But also the Green Power project that they put together where the children build the kit car and go and race it against other schools. All those things that they've given us insight into and access to has been really fantastic. The key skills for our children that they need to leave Ganton and to go into the wider world are those life skills, independence skills, all the skills that are based around the preparation for adulthood agenda. And that's what we've put at the heart of our curriculum so that everything we do, we can incorporate those skills within that and the big 13 skills for enterprise so that they can be as prepared as possible for an independent as possible life when they leave us. For a number of years in our sixth form we've set up some marquee offers for the children, so there's some marquee offers that they can access when they get to the sixth form that develop the life skills and knowledge that they need. So we've got 5 at the moment. So we have a Landings restaurant, a cafe, a community cafe that the children run, Blue Ceramics, which is our pottery business that the children run and run trade fairs and things, and Cycle Safari, a social enterprise that the children take part in and run for primary schools coming into the school, and Shop Local, which is a fruit and veg shop that the children go and buy the produce for and then sell within the community cafe on a Friday. So we had, a number of years ago, we looked at our marquee offers and decided that actually these are the skills that we need from a top level approach. So we looked top down, what do they need to be able to access those marquee offers, and then we worked it back in small steps throughout the school to build up those knowledge and skills throughout everything that we do.
Well, what would you say are the benefits of now getting these youth enterprise ambassadors involved? That's people that have been helped by people like you and the whole team that have actually started and are running their own businesses now, and they're now actually enterprising as youth enterprise. How do you see that working?
It's a great initiative to have them for sure, because, you know, they've been through the program, they're living to testimony, and somebody else. It's one thing, maybe, you know, the team from MC4C telling people that, oh, come on and we can help you. And it's another hearing from someone who's been through it and they're actually doing the business. So I think that's one thing that it'll bring, you know, and they're young, that helps.
Yeah,
you know, and so it'll seem like, you know what, yeah, they're my age and they've gone and set up their business, so I can do it as well. And not only that, I think they've all got great ideas on how they can, you know, advertise and promote the program and encourage other young people to, you know, to set up their own business, and also, you know, to let them know that you're not alone. There is people who can help you.
Recently, MC4C have asked me to be an ambassador, so that's really nice because it's just helping to inspire other young people, because it's so scary. And I think, like I said previously, I think people just think to be an entrepreneur you've got to have all that confidence and be super determined, and I was really scared. And I think until I got that help from MC4C and then managed to like grow not just my business but myself as a person. So yeah, just inspire those people and just make them realise that there is other lines, like in terms of your career path. It's not just working a 9 to 5. If you've got a real passion for something and an idea, you definitely can grow it into like your full-time job.
In lockdown, the first lockdown, I was really bored. But I sort of just went through the first lockdown, and then we obviously were put in another lockdown, and I was like, what am I going to do to sort of give me something to do? And I ended up ordering some stuff to learn how to crochet with.
Okay.
And so I was doing a YouTube tutorial of how to crochet, and my cat just came and sat next to me, and I just looked at her and I was like, I should make you a hat to wear. So then I just started crocheting a hat for her to wear. And then obviously I showed it to my parents and to my sisters, and they were like, oh, that's ace. And they were just like, you should do something with that. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll make a business. And I sort of was looking into it and like how to like start selling. And a lot of people recommended Etsy. So then I just went on Etsy and started selling. My sister said to me, oh, you should do a frog design. Because I don't know where that came from, but some people seem to love frog-like hats. So I made one for my cat, and I think it went famous on TikTok, and then people were like, oh, where can I buy one of these? So I just started selling them and making loads of different designs as it went on. I thought it would be like really hard, but really if you just like focus on it and like try your best, like I did a lot of it through social media, because I'm obviously quite good with social media because I mean I'm only young, but I just sort of went onto social media, made a couple of pages for it on like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook and things like that. And I just ended up getting loads of customers from that.
The great thing about running a business is you can do it any age you want, can't
Yeah.
they? So what would you say to people thinking about starting something that are your age?
I'd say just go for it. It's a big commitment. Like if you're not willing to put a lot of your time towards it, I wouldn't go for it if you didn't have the commitment.
Yeah.
But obviously I had the commitment and I just kept on going. And once you've actually got there, like to a certain point, it actually becomes like a lot easier than it was at the start, even though it's still not easy. But I think a lot of the help came from the business teacher at St Mary's, Miss Hudson.
Right.
She was so supportive to everything.
I love all of the projects, but one of the things I love about the John Cracknell Youth Enterprise Bank, which I know is unique anywhere in the world, and I do know quite a lot about enterprise throughout the world, is the fact that you've taken on board this idea of building confidence in the young people before them being able to really trade in order to make ends meet, because we're not talking about the fast cars and various things. You and I are talking about getting them to the point where they can actually just make ends meet. And what you've done is, like, we were in a conversation the other day on Zoom, and there was somebody who was looking to set up a gaming parlour. And they're a long way from setting up like a gaming show, a long, long way. But you said, here's 200 quid or 250 quid to do your research, to test it out, to find out what you're doing. It could be a year, 2 years before they actually do it. But by the time they'll start, they'll have confidence in it. How has that kind of evolved over all these years? Because I think it's absolutely fantastic.
I think it's been put together basically through a number of the programmes that the council's run over the years.
Right.
I'm lucky. The youth bank is separate over there. It's independent.
Yep.
It has its own voice. It can say and do what it wants.
Yes.
But by linking in with people who run the Making Changes for Careers programme has meant that they've been able to feed into the panel about the journey that the young person has gone on. It's just by a process of osmosis that it seemed the logical thing to do. I mean, we could have invested £4,000 or £5,000 in different businesses and said, oh, look at us, we've done really well. We haven't helped 700 and odd young people, we've helped create 750 jobs.
Exactly.
Well, we're not about creating jobs for the sake of creating jobs. It's about changing people's mindsets.
Yeah.
And that was the philosophy that I was brought up with my dad.
Yeah.
He wanted to see change.
Yeah.
He wanted to see young people do whatever they wanted to do. You know, if I'm being perfectly honest, we could have ruled out 50% of the grants if we'd followed the normal grant procedure.
Yes, I'm sure.
We would have had less failure.
Yeah.
But then again, we would have had less young people that might have just learnt something. And that's what it's about. I'm still hopeful for the future. I think it's sad that you and Tina are giving it up, but it's been a pleasure for Hull to be be and I know this is supposedly about you interviewing me.
Yeah, definitely it is. Yeah,
but
absolutely. We'll edit all that out, Charles.
I think what we need to put into context. You know, there's many people here today hearing about what you've done. You're a Hull lad.
Yes.
You went away.
Yes.
You came back.
Yeah.
Tina's a Scarborough lass, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
But you're both in Scarborough.
From Lancashire originally.
Well, again, we don't mention about that neither, do we? But you've adopted Hull just as much as we've adopted you, in the sense of moving forward. We're working with young people, and we've loved it. We've loved every minute of it.
At the moment, I've made a profit of about £1,250, so that's really great, and I'm really happy about that.
Are there any particular things like you go, oh, not another one of those I've got to paint?
Oh yeah, all the little girls want unicorns, rainbow unicorns, that's the main one, yeah. Don't even know how many of them I've done.
I'm choosing to be my own boss as a career, you know, and society doesn't always support that, you know.
No,
I have
absolutely.
all the support from my family for sure, but I feel like my parents would rather be in a corporate job, you
Yes,
know, safety,
absolutely,
which
absolutely.
any parent is understanding,
Yeah,
you know, but it needs to change. That narrative needs to change. So I will continue supporting, you know, youth entrepreneurship, you know, in Hull. I'm a whole lass, so
Yeah, no, it's great.
you know, I'm continuing to support that. But yeah, opening everything Toasty is my goal this year, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Like my partner goes, oh God, aren't you tired? I'm like, well no, because I love it, and like you just enjoy it, and I don't see it as like hard work. I don't know, but obviously I will probably get a bit tired after doing all of April non-stop, but yeah, it's just so nice to do something that you love.